This being my first speech, I want to take the liberty here to introduce my wife, Jennifer, who's here to say hi, and also my mother, Dorothy. I stand before you here in support of AB 58, which provides a mandatory minimum sentence of 5 years with a maximum of 7.5 years for violent felons who illegally possess a firearm. It'll also increase the seriousness of the felony to a Class F from a Class G. Today, our communities are faced with a frightening trend of increasing violence and homicides. In Milwaukee, homicides nearly doubled from a pre-COVID 111 in 2019 to 214 in 2022. Over 80% of these homicides are the result of gun violence. Our current laws make it illegal for convicted felons to possess a firearm, but no mandatory minimum penalty exists. We have numerous situations where judges have ignored or chosen not to address the fact that the convicted felon in front of them had in their possession a firearm. In Milwaukee County, over 3,500 gun possession cases were sent to the DA's office from 2011 to 2015. 37% of these never had charges filed. We all have school groups that come in front of us, and they, we try to tell them what we're doing and passing laws, and one of them asked what law I was doing, and I just tried to briefly explain it to them, as you might to a fifth grader, simply. And the response from that girl was, well, that just makes sense. And that's the goal here, to hold sensibly people who willingly violate the laws, willingly know that they're going to do that, to keep them from having a firearm. We cannot allow violent felons convicted of a violent crime in the past to carry a firearm with impunity. That's why I'm here asking everyone to hold violent felons accountable with your vote today. This legislation is not only about punishment, but it's also about prevention. By imposing a substantial mandatory minimum penalty, we will send a clear message to the violent felons that carrying firearms will not be tolerated. Felons need to know that we're serious about making our communities safer. They need to know that they're risking years of their lives in prison if they choose to carry a firearm. Our communities will be safer when violent felons stop carrying firearms. We have ignored the dangers of allowing violent criminals to carry a firearm without guaranteed repercussions for far too long. To act as a deterrent, penalties should acknowledge the severity of the infraction and be consistently applied. No penalty is an indication of our lack of concern. Everyone who's in favor of gun control should be in favor of this legislation. Without relinquishing our Second Amendment rights, this common sense bill will remove guns from those most likely to use them in violence. It's time we take this simple, practical step to reduce gun violence. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The vote is green.